Come to the stage right now. Put your hands together for Kevin!
Welcome to the Unfunny Kevin Show. I am your host, Kevin Melody. It's Friday, July 25th. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a fun week. A week as fun and as entertaining as my own, bro. We got to get into, there's a number of things, starting with 5 stars in the Apple Podcast Store, 5 stars in Spotify. Comment on the episodes, folks. You can literally write a comment in Spotify on every episode, and then leave a review in the Apple Podcast Store. That's how we get the extra sponsors, folks. It goes a long way. And subscribe on YouTube. Head over there. I don't know. All the links are in the bio. Like, subscribe, rate, and share. Now, back to our community, folks. Last week, I had a fucking rough. I did. I had an emotional week. Primarily because of the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. Which, as someone who has the last name Melody, I have an eclectic music background. My father, of course, working with Eazy-E and a gentleman named Q Loco and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I grew up with a lot of rap and interesting shit around the house. So I don't know. My music, I love music. I love all kinds of music. But my path to Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath is a funny and interesting one. And I didn't really think about it much. I never reflected on it until the passing of Ozzy. And I did watch that farewell tour thing. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. You can pay for it and they donate the money or whatever. It's great. But yeah, basically, like, I kind of rewound how the fuck did I end up into Black Sabbath in the first place? And through that, it was actually a healing journey. It was, yes. It was like a sound bath listening to Sabotage by Black Sabbath. No, it was interesting. Like, I definitely poured up for the man and had a cigar and listened to a record or two, and it took me down a fucking road, bro. It did. Because basically from 2nd to like 5th grade, I fucking loved, it was just rap. There was nothing else. Particularly G-Unit, Beg for Mercy, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, and then Chingy, Jackpot, and Powerball, and shout out Chingy. Because I didn't have money, but this is how I got my stuff. Okay, so I asked for Barnes & Noble gift cards. This is like when the internet first popped off. Because I realized if you had a Barnes, people think, oh, he wants to read a book. Oh, a book, great. But if you scratch off the shit, you can go online. And this was way back when it would take weeks for this shit to ship to your front door. But as a 12-year-old kid, a 10-year-old kid, a 9-year-old kid, you could get explicit shit delivered right to your front step, my brother. So I used the gift cards to buy all that shit. And I didn't get a lot, but I was able to get what I could. So that shit was on repeat, bro. And then in 3rd grade, I've talked about this. I went through puberty very young. I fell in love with this woman, child, and her she was like, I love Blink 182. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about all that. So my dad's cousin, who was actually, we called him my uncle. We call him my Uncle Rob. Uncle Rob was like, oh, I'm going to get you a CD player. So he drove me to Circuit City because I wanted a CD player, and I could only listen to CDs off of, the entertainment system. I wanted a Walkman, a fucking Sony Walkman. We went to Circuit City, and I wanted like a blue. If I remember correctly, they had like blue, silver, red, and like gold. And like a good Iranian boy, a little Persian boy, I got gold. The best color that there is. No, but for real, like I didn't have a pick of the litter because those things were flying off shelves, and my uncle was like, bro, I'm sorry, like they only have gold. I was like, fuck it, bro. I don't care. Give me the gold. And then he bought me these crazy like Sony yellow headphones that wrapped around. They were fire. So then I'd stick that shit in my pocket, and I was like, I need Blink 182 because I want to fuck the girl. I was in 3rd grade. And he's like, all right. So he bought me this album called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which actually is a great album. If you ever listen to Blink 182, it's fire. So he gets me that album, and then now in between Chingy and like Beg for Mercy, I got this in the fucking rotation because I wanted to fuck that girl. Obviously nothing happened. I was 9. But anyway, I went down that road. That was like kind of my fourth kind of intro into like anything other than rap. And then, outside of fucking Jedi mind tricks and, so then so in 5th grade, I'm going into fucking middle school, and I'm not going to I finally made friends, and I wasn't taking my friends with me. And, for the first 3 weeks of 6th grade, I was sick. And so I had the kid that did magic. We've talked about him on the show. And I had another friend that was a juggalo. He got beat with telephone cords, and we smoked cigarettes. But I made friends, and I made one friend introduce me to another friend, and they all liked rock. And so I was like, I went home and I told my dad, I was like, hey Dad, I finally have these 2 friends. Can you help me out? I went to him with a need, of course, kind of a mistake, but it was always funny. And he was drunk, and when you get drunk, we had this crazy, my mom worked for JBL in the 90s. So we had these big speakers. My dad would just blast music on a fucking 6-disc CD changer, state of the art. And it was nuts. And my dad's like, well, what do they like? And I was like, well, one of them likes like Pink Floyd. My dad's like, Pink Floyd's gay. Next. Which is funny because I actually ended up loving Pink Floyd. And then I was like, all right, well, the other one, he likes Led Zeppelin. And my dad was like, Led Zeppelin has 2 songs. Which, by the way, is insane to say about Led Zeppelin, because I went on to love Led Zeppelin too, and it's a great catalog. My dad would just get drunk and just deduce like legendary things, Like, you'd be like, Dad, what about Tupac? But Tupac, one good song. What about the Beatles? Beatles, gay. Automatically, just discard. So he said, let's get in the car. I'm going to change your life. It'll blow all their shit out of the water. And he drove me over to Target drunk in this hoopty white Altima 1998 with a hole in the floor and throw cigarettes through. And he almost had like packets in the center console. It gives me PTSD, like ketchup and fucking Del Taco hot sauce. It was weird. Anyway, so he drives me over there, and he gets me this Nirvana Greatest Hits. It was like a black cover, and he just blasts it in the parking lot with me. I mean, white ladies just clutching their pearls at this kid and his father just headbanging. It was great. It was like, damn, this is like moody and grungy. Like, this is fire. So that was okay, cool. Like, my dad took it to the next level. And then I told my uncle, I was like, hey, these guys like rock. My uncle's like, my Persian uncle now, not my dad's fucking cousin, but I tell my Persian uncle, and he's like, no, you need to get into AC/DC. And that just blew my fucking mind. Like, he put me on AC/DC, and it was like, I just never looked back. And so Angus Young, the guitarist for AC/DC, played a Gibson SG, his signature guitar, and I thought, oh, that's fucking sick. I want to play guitar. I want to learn that. So I get an Epiphone SG because we're poor, and whatever. It's like a knockoff. It's fine. It's like the Kirkland, right? And it worked. It was fine. It did the job. And I was like, all right, cool. Now I need lessons. So my mom's like, don't worry, I got a good plan. You're going to go to Doña Musari. And I said, Mom, what the fuck are you talking about? Doña, that's music of the world. There's no way the fucking She goes, don't worry, Masood, he's top notch. And I go in there. There's this Persian guy with a fucking mustache and long hair. And he's like, so what do you want to learn? And I was like, I'm a beginner, but I love AC/DC. And I heard like the chord progressions are easy. And he's like, yeah, man. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. We're going to do Smoke on the Water. And I was like, Smoke on the Water? He's like, yeah, it's a good starter song, man. Then we're going to learn how to read music. And then I'm going to teach you Arusakam. And I was like, no, we're not playing Doll. I don't want to, it's a gay song. I want to learn AC/DC. And he's like, yeah, but you got to start here, man. And I was like, God damn it. Like, I was so fucking mad. And I never went back. But my homie was in a band, one of the homies I made. And it was a band that was like organized by a youth church pastor or something, because they practiced in a youth church thing. And they had, pedophilic vibes, don't get me wrong. But he taught them various, they did cover songs or whatever the fuck. And they basically, one of the cover songs that they did was Iron Man by Black Sabbath. And they like changed the words out a little bit, whatever, to respect God and stuff and kids. But my homie that was in that fucking band was like, I know you want to learn AC/DC, but it's good to start with an easy song, and I'll teach you tab, which will basically you read the fretboard. You don't have to learn notes, and that'll help you learn AC/DC, but you should really just hammer down the basics of this song, Iron Man by Black Sabbath. And he teaches it to me. And that was the end of it. Like after that, I was completely sold. Like I fell into a Black Sabbath hole, bro. So R.I.P. to Ozzy Osbourne. Shout out to my buddy that, fucking put me on, man. Put me on, because I'll know, that's the thing. This crazy thing. He passed. I forgot all about that until he passed. But, fuck, man. It's like AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Pantera. I have like certain like bands that were crucial before I just gave up on all that shit and went right back to rap. But man, that shit, fuck, it hit me, bro. Definitely had a cigar and some scotch and listened to some records, bro. But fuck, R.I.P. And one of the greatest reality shows of all time, the Osbournes. I think it predated Kim K, didn't it? Hold on. What the fuck's going on? I want to say it. The Osbournes came first. The Osbournes premiered in 2002. And Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered in 2007. Fuck yeah, bro. Crazy. All right, so moving on. We lost the Prince of Darkness, but there is the Prince of Light. We have some Jeffy Eppy updates. Someone just send those over to TheUnfunnyKevinShow@gmail.com. Rate, subscribe the show, 5 stars in the podcast stores, Spotify and Apple, please. And comment on the episode, your Ozzy memory or something like that. That'd be fun. In Spotify, you can actually comment now. We are supposed to say that, but I don't know if anyone even has. Listen, I mean, enjoy it. You know, subscribe on YouTube. So Jeffy Eppy, someone sent me this, and I guess this is the man himself, testifying, or he's in a deposition. Here we go.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
I don't even know him. He's a liar.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's one where you just go, I mean, even if you're a big Trumpito guy, you got to go. But then there's people that'll watch that, right? There's people that'll watch that and they're like, well, I mean, sometimes you do gotta dabble in the youngins. Like, well, it doesn't matter. None of it matters anymore. It's crazy. Like, nothing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no line. It's like the same retards that would be like, Biden's mentally competent. He's fine. And he come out there and go, hey, how you doing? What? Yeah. Ice cream. Israel. Pipeline. Pally. I like chicken. He's fine. He's fine. Leave him alone. There's nothing wrong. I don't know who Jeffy Eppy is, but if I did, we had sex just a couple of times, and they weren't that little. Only 14. And you know, in the great state, United States, 13 great states have consent to 16, so joke's on you, fellas. Yeah, he does. It wasn't that many. He went there, and yet they were. Can you let me finish? They were associates, and you wouldn't understand, simpleton. Sometimes you gotta have sex against a child's will. If you had caviar and a jet and power and influence, you'd understand. But you're know-nothing lib. You're a dumb, know-nothing lib cuck, and you don't understand. You lack proper knowledge of the upperclassmen. And look, he's fighting for the border, so I can overlook some of these little kids he's fucking. Let's see. How let's see. What the FBI is going to come in. What is the legal the youngest age of consent in the United States? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. The youngest age of consent in the United States for sexual activity is 16 years old. Okay. How many states have the age of consent at 16? In the United States, the sexual activity set by states is most commonly 16 years old. Approximately 30 out of 50 states have an age of consent at 16 years old. Great. Well, nothing to see here, folks. All right. And in developing news, I guess they're talking to old Ghislaine. Old Gilly. I wish her well. That's what he said when they locked her up. And then there were no epi files, and there was nothing to see here. Move right along. And now, someone sent, this is 4 hours old. So this is like brand new shit for the night we're recording. So let's see what they say.
Apparently, she is ready to talk. It is a long, sordid scandal of wealthy men who engaged in sex with underage girls, procured by then Wall Street money manager Jeffrey Epstein. But
Wall Street money manager with an island.
The only one seeing prison time is a woman. Today, Ghislaine Maxwell left her prison cell in Tallahassee, Florida, to speak with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanc.
And Miss Maxwell answered every single question. She never stopped. She never invoked a privilege. She never declined to answer. She answered all the questions truthfully, honestly, and to the best of her ability.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison term
for what? Nothing happened.
Helping Epstein procure underage girls for sex.
Procuring underage girls for sex.
There's no shortage of demands to hear what she knows. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Maxwell, a deputy.
He's making gas cheaper. You occasionally got.
Position is scheduled for next month. But Democrats, such as Long Beach Congressman Robert Garcia, are concerned that Maxwell may alter her testimony for her own benefit.
She probably wants a pardon from Donald Trump.
Oh, bro, of course. Of course. I didn't even see that angle. I'm fucking stupid.
With Trump's Department of Justice cannot be trusted, and anything she says must be corroborated with documents and records from the actual Epstein files.
A point at least partly echoed by Oversight Chair Republican James Comer.
We're going to move to be more aggressive.
We're going to move to be more aggressive with that age of consent thing. Because here's the thing, Trump did wrestle with a couple of them, right? But they are 14. It's only 2 years off, from the actual legal age. So we're going to do some little number gymnastics.
in trying to get transparency with the Epstein files.
The Epstein
Never mind. He's actually saying they want transparency. I apologize, Republican, whatever your name is.
issue ignited when the president's Justice Department issued a memorandum saying there was no list of Epstein's clients and that he indeed had taken his own life while in custody. Mr. Trump calling the entire matter a hoax.
It's sort of a witch hunt.
Today, Trump...
I mean, I can't even, what am I supposed to say? This is great. This is fucking great. This is insane. All right. Thank you for sending this, folks. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Folks, we need to talk about a recent sponsor, one of whom I love and that you're going to love. This is King Coil Mattress Company, folks. We're talking about premium King Coil air mattresses for everyday luxury. Now, think about this for a second. You're trapping. You are in a trap house, brother. We're talking, you got boards on the windows. You got fucking Ling Ling in the back. She's weighing it, bro. And then you got a couple other people bagging it. And then you got custies, of course. And you got a little burglar bar door. Let's not get it confused. But somewhere, you need to be able to take a rest because even a drug dealer needs a break, right? But are you going to sleep on a stack of fucking mattress or sleep on a fucked up mattress or a stack of fucking newspaper or some shit? No, brother. No. Here's the rub. You got to sleep like a king if you're going to trap like one. Mine is gold. Premium King Coil air mattresses, folks, for everyday luxury. They may drop us. Trusted by over 1 million sleepers and counting. Discover why King Coil air mattresses are trusted. With Afterpay, you can enjoy luxurious rest now and pay later. Folks, this is New York Times Wirecutter 2025 pick. They have 5-star reviews to the tune of 8,300 plus on the new King Coil luxury air mattress with high-speed built-in pump. And you're going, okay, Kev, I get it, but I don't want to sleep on a little twin. I'm a big, strong man. Well, they have a king. You heard it, folks. A California King Coil luxury air mattress with high-speed built-in pump. Well, I bet the king one is probably $1,000. Newsflash, folks, it is on sale for $179.95. Yup. And they have different heights, 20-inch, 16-inch, 13-inch. So grab a motherfucking King Coil Air now, folks. Why are you waiting? And use the code UnfunnyKevin10 for 10% off your order. I'm urging you to do it today, folks. The summer's wrapping up, and it's getting hot in the bando. You're going to need a nice air mattress. All right. Thank you. Folks, Japan is striking deals with Trumpy. China, they're striking deals. But Xi Jinping, who I've talked about ad nauseum on the show, is upset still because the Unfunny Kevin Show has not conceded. We're not backing down. We're not cutting deals. Not with them. We're cutting deals with you, listener. Head over to shinningyou.com stat for things like Peacock Stone Bracelet. Yeah, I hope I don't have to repeat myself here. Peacock Stone Bracelet. They got crystal ball jewelry set. They have 925 silver lace ball necklace with multiple wearing styles, simple temperament, fashionable and versatile, light luxury feeling. $249.72 on sale. 6 5-star reviews. And you're getting 15% off of that, folks. That's right. You heard me. You heard me right. Right now, Unfunny Kevin 15%. Type in UNFUNNYKEVIN 15% to get 15% off your Shinning You order. Remember, Shinning You, jade shining like stars, mysterious and dreamlike amidst the interweaving of light and shadow, quietly emanating a charming charm. Necklaces, bracelets, earrings, handmade bracelets, and more. Please visit shinningyou.com. Click the link in the bio and use the code and support the show. Thank you. All right, Jeffy Eppy, worst vacations. You guys voted 424-244-9599. text or call in ASAP and tell us about the worst vacation. It's anonymous. You can leave a voicemail or just text me what the fuck happened. I want to know the location. Where'd you stay? How fucked up was it? Was your family insane? Some crazy story with your parents? I'm going to give you mine right now in tonight's show. Weird hookups, whatever happened. Just let us know. You voted for it, so that's what we're doing. We do have a user submitted clip before we break into my own worst vacation story. And it's an interesting article and quite an interesting clip. And this is, I guess, breaking as of this week from Sky News. And it's an interesting one. And it's somehow kind of just as weird and strange as Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you for sharing this, folks. But also why? Okay, it is right here.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
Okay, there's this white guy literally looks like evil. Like he looks evil and gaunt, kinda. Why are they? Okay, anyway, just I'll let it.
American culture.
Over the last
good American culture.
year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills
in the Ozark Hills, in our white town, consent's 13, brother. Make 47, 48, 49, 50.
State of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community
This has to be fake.
Based around shared ancestry. A long-winded way.
Return to the land at RTTL_official. We've started a whites-only community.
Of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right.
You know what I love about this is that all the time, whenever you hear stuff like this, they're always like, well, I'm sorry. The lib cucks Dems say that you should support black-owned business. What about white-owned business? And honey boo-boo, it's all white. It's all white-owned businesses.
Sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
Hold on, this guy's standing in front of goats that he may be fucking, and he's got a blue shirt on, and he's got a nice big cross on his chest.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't I like
seemingly
Nazis?
Bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise.
This guy's playing a flute.
Made possible because of a new political and technological moment. One with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
Yeah, all right, I've had enough of this. It's important for me to do this for my children, my children. They're so disenchanted. They're so cut. I mean, Ozarks or whatever the fuck they are, Arkansas. They're so cut off. Their boy. They're like, he's supporting Israel and he's also fucking kids and he's working with the Mossad. So I don't know. Trump's not going to do. We're going to make our own white town. I can't even believe this. This is literally, you can look this up. You can look up the article. They sent my homie sent me this. It's from Sky News. It's called The Whites Only Community inside the Whites Only Settlement in Arkansas. Oh man. Oh, there's a 26-minute doc. Well, I know what I'll be doing. This is just nuts. I can't even. Okay. All right, back to worst vacations, folks. 424-244-9599. Text us your worst vacation. I will kick it off as we collect these and then launch into them in the coming weeks. My worst. Okay. So I grew up not a man of many means. My folks put food on the table. My grandmother helped. My grandfather helped. We had a support system, right? It's how family works. So there wasn't vacations. I wasn't on constant. There wasn't a week, a monthly, or a summerly, or an annual. There was cookouts. We hung out in each other's houses, and sometimes we'd find a pool. But the worst vacation, my personal story, it's not necessarily, I guess, worst, but it's probably the most insane. My dad has, or not actually not a lot anymore, but he had severe anxiety, which makes sense with the alcoholism, right? Because he would just numb himself. So now, like, if he's dried out and he's sober, it's funny, all of his ailments and anxieties, they all melt away. It's funny how that fucking happens. But when you're in active addiction and you're drinking constantly, it's hard to do normal shit like drive, right? Or drive on the freeway. He had this crazy anxiety about freeways and bridges and all this shit. So when we do a road trip, my personal hell / nightmare, my mom would have to, carry the brunt or the load, and then they'd switch off, depending on how far it was. So my uncle lived in San Francisco or he still lives in Half Moon Bay. And we went up, it was weird. We were supposed to go to Lake Tahoe, where my cousins were going to be and my aunt was going to be. And we, for some reason, drove through San Francisco. Like, cause you could take the 5 in California and which is horrific. I mean, I wouldn't do that either. It's faster, but after you pass San Luis Obispo, brother, it's just garlic and cows and hell, and there's nothing for miles. But there was a scenic route. So my mother drove like most of that fucking trip because my dad couldn't do freeways and bridges, and then he couldn't do windy roads or whatever the fuck, right? It's like you really just needed like an anti-anxiety or fucking Xanax or something. So anyway, worst vacation. So we're driving to Lake Tahoe. I'm 13, and we cross. I don't remember if it was the Golden Gate or if it was the Oakland Bridge, the Bay Bridge. I can't remember what it was, but we're going over a bridge, and for some reason, my dad was the driver, and he decides to jump. So he's in the driving position. It's my sister and I in the back seat. My sister's like 5, something like that. My mom's in the front seat, and my dad decides to jump in the back seat whilst on the bridge. My mom jumps for the wheel. My dad works the pedals. And he closed his eyes. Yeah. We could have literally, funny enough, wasn't the only time I could have died on that trip. My mom like steers us, and luckily we were about, so think about the bridge. We're like on the 3rd quarter. So the craziest part was almost out of the bridge. We almost got out of there. You know what I'm saying? So like, it wasn't like he got in and immediately let go. Like he was fine until like the last, I don't know, however many feet. My mom grabbed the wheel and was like smacking him and like, get the fuck up. He's like, I'm sorry. It was nuts, bro. It was nuts. So then we get to the windy mountain. We go to Lake Tahoe or whatever the fuck. And I haven't been back to Lake Tahoe since. So I do have to have a corrective experience, as they say. But so we're in Lake Tahoe. And I remember my dad was in active addiction, bro. He was drinking constantly then, and it was bad. And my mom, God bless her, it was a trip for her too, right? She's trying to get away. So she and my aunt would go shopping, her sister, and then take like my cousin or something. And then I was left with my dad for a lot, which is fucked up and not fair in retrospect. But, I was left with him, and he was supposed to be like preparing dinner. And he said something like, I need the foil. And I was like, all right, I'll go get the foil. And he had this giant, like, cutting knife, like, not like a butcher knife, but one of those big fucking, like, chef knives, like, crazy big ass knife. And he's like, where's the fucking foil? And I was like, I'm getting it. I can't find it. He's like, it's in there. I put it in there. Now, I'm like ripping drawers apart and I'm yelling, like, he's outside. I'm yelling from the kitchen. I'm like, I can't find it. And then I turn around and he's in there sweating, red, and he puts the fucking knife to my throat, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Get the fuck off me. Like, I react instantly. And it was awful. And then for some reason, the next day, my uncle, R.I.P., was like, we're going to go get a Harry Potter 5 if you want to go. He loved Harry Potter. I didn't even like Harry Potter, but I was like, get me the fuck out of here. I'll go with you. We'll go get the Harry. This is 2007, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll go get the Harry Potter in the Goblet of fucking Phoenix Fires and whatever you want, bud. Just get me the fuck out of here. And we like waited outside of a Barnes and Noble or something. And he bought me the shout out the homie, R.I.P. Uncle Bob, bought me the Harry Potter. And I was like, this is great. I don't care. As long as I'm not fucking doing all that dumb shit. And then the craziest part was after that, we hit the lake. Yeah, we finally got to go on the lake. And my cousin was dating this dude that looked exactly like Jack Johnson. He was this white guy that looked like Jack Johnson. And he played acoustic guitar. And I swore he was Jack Johnson, who was really popping at the time. And he took me on a jet ski, and I was like, this is fun. Like, I was like, at least this is making up for the insanity. And then my dad's like, we're going fishing. And he took me to to this day, I can't even believe this place was real. It was like a dirt like lot that had holes dug into it, and they would fill it up with like a hose. Like, they'd fill it with water, and then they just stuff it with fish. And so you'd No, it's a fucking hoot and a half. I'm telling you, folks. It was like literally worse than like fishing with dynamite, because there were like these sickly salmon and they were just mushed, like all condensed. And they'd be like, all right, you take a number. Yeah, we'll give you hole number 6. And they give you like a rod, and then you just stick, and immediately you'd have this like green looking salmon just flailing on the end of your pole. Pause. Oh my God, bro. 424-244-9599. Give me your worst, folks. Lay it on me. Your worst of the worst vacations. Thank you so much for supporting the Unfunny Kevin Show from the bottom of my heart. Like, subscribe, rate, all the good things. Follow me on Funny Kev on Instagram. All the links in the bio. You know what to do. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I look forward to talking to you next Friday.